Vandal.
Hey y'all, I'm here in the street. I'm getting ready to go live with Zoe. You guys make sure that you go to Dash
Talk.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss a woman's ass. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason. Yay! Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, back in the building. Another Monday. You already know what it is. We got incredible topics that must be dealt with. We must deal with these conversations. As much bullshit going on in the world, how can we not at least try to fix our relationships? How are we going to organize? How are we going to come together? How are we going to work together? Jesus. We need relationship skills. I've brought in some people, or a person, to help us walk through this issue. Before I even get into today's topic, which is going to be crazy, I think Tone Talks is going to call in. Oof. This is going to be a heavy one. Once again, you're listening to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk X. Dash Talk X is the premium talk channel on dashradio.com. This is the Voice of Reason. Typically, we have a round table of women in here today, but today, the universe said, hell nah. We're going to have one woman in here to represent the masses of them. They outnumber us. And as is commonplace for this show, this is a caller-driven show. Meaning, I need to hear from ladies. I need to hear from men. Get to your phone lines. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. That's 323-230-4610. Call us early and often. I want to get to your questions and issues that surround this particular topic. Now, before I even get into the topic, you know I got to promote a couple of things. Total Package Energy has been consumed today. I done had 2 bottles of this. How many bottles can you drink at a time, Phil?
Man, I mean, I could try to drink one, but usually I just stay with a half and I'm cool.
I just love them. Maybe that's it.
They don't taste bad either, though.
They don't. Total Package Energy is the real deal. Total Package Energy. Zero crash, zero carbs, zero jitters, B vitamins, amino acids. It's all types of goodness up in here, man. You got to get yourself a bottle right now. Go to TotalPackageEnergy.com and tell them Zoe sent you. If you're an Uber driver, a limo driver, a Lyft driver, a truck driver, and you're doing any driving at night, I swear to God, you need this. Don't drink no Red Bull. You're going to crash into something, I promise. Drink Total Package Energy. It is the premier energy shot in the game. Now, I got books. Oh, let me turn this beat down real quick. I need everybody in this chat room to go to my website and pre-order a copy of The Holographic Relationship, my latest book. We're going to try to get it out, man. We've been struggling. Holographic Relationship. I want to show somebody the book cover we had done. I think I'm going to show it to you.
I want to see it.
This shit is fly. It's, people got real artsy with it. This artist reached out to me and was like, Zoe, hey, I want to do this cover for you. And I couldn't believe when I show it to you, you're going to be like, oh, that's cold. I promise you. Are you an art person?
I like nice stuff.
Oh, you'll love it. You hear the answer? I like nice things. Oh, it's going to be crazy. Oh, Holographic Relationship. Get over to my website, IamZoeWilliams.com. Pre-order your copy right now. We're pushing for 200 copies, 200 pre-orders for the month of September. Can we get it done? What is the day? The 17th? Got roughly 10, 12 days, 15 days left. Come on. Let's get her done. And then, did I give you this? I gave you this, didn't I?
Not that one, but the CD.
Oh, you didn't get the book.
Didn't get the book.
The book is Hot Monkey Lava. I don't know if you've ever experienced hot monkey lava. I'm getting a shirt done of a volcano erupting. Then there's a monkey.
Yeah, I need the visual.
Yeah, we're going to turn it into a meme. Hot monkey lava. The relationship dismount. How to stick the landing when exiting a toxic relationship by is available on Amazon.com. I think it's on iTunes. Yeah, iBooks. Barnes & Noble. Kindle. It's all over there. I'm going to tell you right now, don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. I always tell couples to read it together before shit goes bad.
That's a good idea.
People need to read together. Couples. I think so. Get your copy of The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Let me see if I'm reading this shit correctly. This is another book that I like, that I've been reading. From Hell to Fire, Compton Fire Department. Book 1, Sex and Politics, Allison Brooks. Now, I don't normally read fiction, but this is like faux fiction. I just made that up. You sure did. Somebody pat me on the back for my creativity. Faux fiction. No, she just changed the names to protect the innocent. But she didn't put work in. From Hell to Fire, Compton Fire Department, Book 1, Sex and Politics. I'll let your imagination deal with the rest of it. You under dig? I think I'm about ready to get into today's topic. The number to dial, 323-230-4610. You're listening to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk X. I am the Voice of Reason, Zoe Williams. Let me introduce today's co-host who has joined the Voice of Reason. She has her own practice. She just graduated from USC with her PhD. Yenna Dick, she's a cold piece of work. She's a cold piece of work. We have to bring cold pieces of work in here to help the cold pieces of work that call into the show. She's married with 2 kids. She got her shit together. Level-headed. Not crazy. Well, we might see some craziness. I mean, I'm crazy. I can't attract people that ain't crazy. So I know there's some level of insanity that we will be exposed to. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce you to the Voice of Reason's resident clinician, Glenna Anderson.
Hi, everyone.
On the PhD side of the game.
What? I'm just Glenna.
Dr. Anderson. Can we call you that? She coming in here with a sweatshirt on all.
I'm
Dr.
chilling, man.
Anderson.
That's me. Sweatshirt, some Air Max, like that's me all day long.
Yeah.
But it is Dr. Glenna.
Dr. Glenna, can you tell them a little bit about yourself, a little background, and how they can find your practice and how they can participate? Because a lot of people need to participate. I don't want y'all to call her. I want you to email her. I want you to connect with her. Don't ask her for shit for free. Okay, go ahead.
That is funny. But yes, my name is Dr. Glenna Anderson. I have a private practice in Torrance, California. I specialize in anxiety-based disorders and emotional abuse recovery. I would love to treat you. I would love to see you. If you go to my social media at Dr. Glenna LCSW, you can contact me there. You can go to my website, GlennaAndersonLCSW.com, and you can send me an email. But yes, very happy to be here. I'm a little nervous. I don't know. Your show be off the hook.
Hey.
I don't know what to expect.
Listen, it has to be off the hook in order for people to be comfortable enough to talk. You know how awkward it is when it's not off the hook?
And it's all sane and
it's all
easy
sane
going.
And formal and so tell
true.
me about yourself. No. Shit, who are you? I don't want to talk to you.
That's funny.
So again, we try to make it comfortable here with a little levity, a little profanity. Profanity goes a long way. Do you let people cuss in your practice?
Oh, sure. In session, it's your session. So if that helps you to feel better, by all means.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Dr. Anderson. Got to say it like the Matrix.
No way.
Dr. Anderson. I love it, goddammit. We about to get busy. Today's topic, big time topic. A lot of people are in relationships like this. Today's topic, scavenger love. An in-depth look at relationships that are based on what we can get from each other as opposed to what we can give to one another. Just like the last conversation we had with Corey Holcomb. The last show we had with Corey Holcomb was about, do non-toxic relationship suitors exist at all? A deeper look at the truth behind dating or being married to a bad person? This topic, scavenger love, I believe most of us are married or dating or cohabitating with a scavenger. I just believe that really good people are on the far end of the bell curve. And what you get from average people is average, mediocre kind of behavior. Mainly takers. That's my belief. I need the doctor to heal me of my evil thoughts. True or false, takers are self-focused and put their own interests ahead of others' needs. Do they try to gain as much control as possible from their interactions with their significant others? I think takers do. Trying to gain as much control, as much as they can get, time, energy, effort, resources, everything. Give it, give it, give it, give it, give it, give it. Am I lying, Glenna?
Lying?
Not really lying. Okay,
Strong
cool.
word.
All right, cool. Are you a giver, a taker, or a matcher? And which one is the worst? Oh, I love it. Who's in a relationship with a taker? Call me right now, 323-230-4610. True or false, intimate relationships require more than just good communication. I got to look at the doctor because I need help. Are you building relationships or are you doing transactions? How many of you are just simply relationship brokers?
Like real estate brokers.
This is investments. You're moving investments around. Once some resources run out with this particular person, they've lost value. Relationship value. Okay, we can't fuck around no more. I'm just saying, who's in a relationship with that person? Gosh. Okay, let me do it another way. Glenna, how many people, and this question is directly for you. Mm-hmm. How many people do you think have a working, sane definition for what an intimate relationship actually means?
What it actually means?
Yes. How many people of the populace
of all the peoples on the earth?
All
what
us,
it actually means.
Just say African Americans here
okay,
right now.
Okay, African Americans here right now. I'll say at least 50% have some working definition of what it is. Now, whether or not they're in it or even working towards it, but I say at least 50%.
So you're an optimist.
I am an optimist.
Yeah, because clearly.
But 50% to me, if I was an optimist, I'd have said about 80. 50%, that's a realist.
All right, let's do it another way.
All right.
Is American culture sick or no?
American culture sick.
Is American culture sick or no?
I mean, it's a couple of infected areas. Ain't no way around that.
And if American culture is sick, and African American culture is statistically at the bottom of every useful metric, how is 50% of us going to be good? Have a workable definition.
You can have a workable definition and not be good. You can know
so
what
not
it
good.
is.
Are we not good?
You can know what it is and not
beg
be
to
in
differ.
it.
I don't think we know what it is. You're very optimistic. Sick people can't know what it is.
That's that other 50.
Sick people are scavengers. I'm sorry. Am I wrong for saying that? Well, let's just get deep into the conversation then. Get to your phone lines. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. You're listening to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk Radio. I was listening to Steve Harvey this morning, and Steve Harvey was breaking down the strawberry letter. This woman basically had everything from this man. Grab that phone call right there. This woman basically had everything from the man except a ring. And she basically said, what should I do? Should I leave? Steve Harvey encouraged her to leave. They have a home together. But they're not married. They got everything, but they're not married. In other words, he's getting the milk, didn't buy the cow. You know that old saying.
Right.
Steve encouraged her to leave. Move back to your mom. This is what he said. Move back to your mama's house. Sell your equity in that house. Stop treating that man like a wife. First off, let me just ask. Is that good advice?
Is it good advice?
Yes.
It's good from his perspective. His perspective is...
No. I'm not. I want to know your perspective.
My perspective is if you're that unhappy because you don't have a ring, well, then that's great advice for you. But my question would be, why'd you get that far without a ring if it meant that much to you?
Wow. And why is it, listen, if you got everything, why is the ring so important if you got everything?
Because you ain't got everything. If everything includes the ring, you ain't got everything. But she really got to ask herself, is it worth demolishing that entire relationship over, because it ain't the ring, it's the marriage. So is it worth demolishing that entire relationship over marriage?
This goes back to my pointing out of your optimism. Yeah. I think people are generally stupid. We're generally stupid. Uneducated, unaware of the world around them, unaware of self. So stupid shit like this makes sense to them.
But it's not stupid if she ain't gonna never be satisfied. If 10 years from now she gonna be on his head, he could be like, look, I got you another house. I got you a horse stable. And she's gonna be like, that's just material things. I want to be married. It ain't stupid to her. She ain't gonna never be satisfied.
But that's my point. You got the house, which is one of the number one indicators of wealth in America. Some equity in something. You'll throw that away and move back to your mama's house? That's good advice.
If you ain't gonna be satisfied on the inside, if you're gonna be on that man head, it don't matter what he buy you.
And to me, this is part of the problem, dating ideas instead of dating a real person. I always tell people, stop dating concepts. A marriage is a social construct. Date a real person. If you was dating a real man, you would have known he didn't want to get married in the first place.
Well, that's my, like, I couldn't even get to the moving to your mama house or staying. I'm like, well, why'd you get that far with somebody? Then you knew that you wanted to be with somebody that was going to marry you. Like, why wouldn't you just wait and date somebody that was on the same page? They wanted the same type of commitment. So just date somebody that's on the same page.
I see that woman as a taker.
As a taker?
Yep.
Well, because she wants things? Well, she don't want the things.
Listen.
What makes her a taker in that scenario?
Listen, in this scenario, the one thing that would bring her solace is not the man. It's what the man can give her.
Nah, she got stuff. It's the level of commitment that she wants.
They obviously in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
I need the idea. I need the concept. If I don't get the concept, all this other shit that we would be working towards loses its value.
Well, here's the other piece. Just because Steve said it don't mean she got to do it. Sometimes you hear it and people put it in perspective like, wait a minute. Maybe I do have enough. Maybe I should be satisfied with what I have and just roll with this.
So this is what I say to people about marriage. If you, listen, the ring, the wedding. First off, there's a difference between the wedding and marriage.
Yeah. The wedding is just a party.
The ring and the wedding, right, are symbols. So many people are in pursuit of the symbol instead of what the symbol symbolizes. I'd rather have what the symbol symbolizes than the symbol. But more people have aggrandized the value of the symbol, in my estimation. This woman appears to be one of those people. If you got I've seen women break up with dudes they got genuine love for. Break up with them. Genuine love. We together. This thing means something. Break up because they don't get the symbol. And then wind up and get married to the goofy that's going to give them the symbol, but still be missing the dude they had the meaning with. I think our relationships in America are very superficial, very meaningless. Not all, some but all. That's one of our words here.
Yes.
Some but all. How do you make your marriage work? See, because I already know. Well, I won't get into my ideas, but how do you make your marriage work?
In what aspect?
For instance, I can already tell you on the nurture side of the game and you on the knowledge side of the game. Nurture, knowledge.
All right.
Rarity in most women. Am I lying?
Well, you asking me, you said I'm an optimist. So anything I say, you going to say I'm being an optimist.
No, I'm not. But I'm asking you, how do you make it work? Because I could tell, I'm just looking at certain qualities. One of the qualities that I've observed in you is nurture and knowledge. Most dudes can appreciate a woman who can pull them to the side in a respectful way and give them good game, good counsel. Is that, hey, Phil, am I wrong?
Nah, you're not wrong.
If a woman if your woman come to you and be like, Phil, you fucking up on the cholesterol side of the game. I watched you eat a couple of ding dongs. It's not cool. And she just pull you to the side and give you that love, give you that nurture, and give you that information. I read the packaging. Right?
Yeah.
Read the packaging.
I'm just saying, typically men listen to that kind of advisement from women.
Definitely.
That's all I'm saying. They go my homeboy, Marcus Graham. I ain't gonna call him Marcus Graham. He's not the dude from Boomerang. Brandon is in the building.
Yo.
Brandon, get on the mic real quick. Do you take knowledgeable, insightful advisement from women? Maybe it's your significant other that's close to you.
Of course, yeah.
How important is intellect in your woman?
Very important.
How important is your woman's ability to articulate that knowledge to you?
Very important.
Okay, cool. This because here we go. We just trying to get it together. I've noticed those two elements in you, nurturing and knowledge. And I'm telling you, as a nigga out here in these streets,
running rampant,
it's rare that the average woman is coming with that. You know what the average woman is coming with? You ask me, why do you call her a taker? Because the average woman has been socialized to receive. So reception, getting is part of their makeup in general. It's rare you find a giver and a nurturer. It's just rare on the unicorn side of the game.
On the unicorn side.
So I'm asking you, because I've seen, I observe.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention. You know how hard it was to get Glenna on this show? And part of the negotiations, listen to this, ladies, came through her husband.
This is true.
Am I lying?
No, this is absolutely true.
Could you explain that process? Because a lot of people don't know what the hell went down.
No, this is true. So when you you say, how does my marriage work? I think first things first, like me and my husband are very much on the same page about what we want. So like what we talked about earlier in terms of, why is the marriage important? How come the commitment is it? For both of us, marriage was important. So, that's just to start. Like that's what's up for the two of us. And then in terms of like the negotiation, you're absolutely right. First thing I said when you talked to me about being on the show was from 5 to 7 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that means that I'm going to be out of my house during, we call it the witching hour, out of my house where it's time to give baths, do homework, settle the kids and everything. I'm going to get home and they're pretty much going to be in the bed. So I had to factor in how many nights a week am I going to be out of my house? And that's all going to fall on my husband, or we got to get a babysitter. And like you said, I just finished a doctorate program at USC. So there was already a big time sacrifice. But that's what works in my house.
See?
I can't speak for nobody else, but that's what works in my house. Everything does. I don't ask my husband, I don't ask him permission, but it's absolutely a courtesy. It's like hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think about that?
You guys consult with each other.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Do you
I
see?
got a whole pocket of friends like that. Maybe that's why I'm an optimist. I got a picture that I sent to, I forget the name of the group, swear. It was almost 20 black men together, right? And the caption was, this is not a frat party. This is not like a dude's night out or whatever. These guys were at a 5-year-old's birthday party. Like, I know a gang of people like this. I got friends, we all got married within months of each other.
It's a gang to you.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
Do you
that's
see
fair.
what I'm saying? It's a gang.
Mike attracts like, so you know that we kind of stick together to, that's how you stay married.
All of y'all rare.
That's fair.
Caller.
That's fair.
You're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it.
What up, Zoe?
Aw, shit. Tone Talks.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to call in on this show. I appreciate you doing it,
Talk to me, man.
It's interesting because we try to have this discussion in a bubble, and then people, like, when I talk about stuff, will start saying, there goes the data, and it's like, I don't know how you live it. Like, marriage is supposed to be an expression of like some kind of connection of families. It's not just like, I love you, you love me, we get together and we just get married. And these relationships are built without that in mind. So even when we talk about marriage, it's like, do I like you? And do you like me? And how long can we like each other? And I think for a lot of people, what ends up happening is liking me is the transactional exchange of whatever that might mean. And I think for women, they have a much more keen, especially like I'm looking at the black end of dating and relationships right now. There's a much more keen understanding of what I'm supposed to get out of it. I think that black men have kind of lost that in a sense. Like, am I supposed to get clothes washed? Am I supposed to get ironed? You talk to older black men, some of them don't know how to cook eggs. Whereas now it's kind of like we don't really have those roles for women. When we look on the other side in terms of expectations, in terms of wealth providing, these men on my channel have no idea that they're black, nor the limitations of it in math. They don't understand that you cannot provide for a woman in an era where you're not getting inheritance. And so I'm bringing all that up to say, I feel like what we have now done is that we reframe things that are scavenger behavior and said that that's just okay. It's just providing.
So give me an example. Give me an example of scavenger behavior, because the callers, everybody in the chat room, they want to know what exactly is relationship scavenging.
Well, essentially, a lot of our women I find are the best of them are serial monogamous. So they consider that not to, I don't want to be a whore. I don't like doing one-night stands. But it's these 8-month relationships that are built on some man lying to you about what he got. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's what we're dealing with right now. We know in L.A., middle black families wear $200 liquid. If you're using all $200 on one meal with you, I mean, I'm just being real with it. And so, if you know this man that you with got kids already, look at them kids, and if they ain't got no clothes on, ask why he taking you to a nice restaurant. I'm just bringing it to the head. And so I feel like in a lot of ways what ends up happening is we've contorted patriarchy, feminism, sexuality in a way that benefits women and allows them to kind of perform some kind of way between serial monogamy, some form of prostitution in a way, and then justify it based on I got needs, or I got kids, or I got... And so, like, if you look at it, what ends up happening is these men that call in, they signed up for it in a sense. Like, I had one guy that called in, I think that somebody had stole his money and used it for her student loans. And it's like, how she have access to your account? Well, we was married and this, that, and the other. Would it have been the other way around? Would he have access to her account to steal the money and put it on his student loan? Did you put the protection in place that she would have? Well, we have viewed it the same as Mary J. Blige's husband was Mary J. Blige. He invested 10 years into a career, and all of a sudden it's like he's a user, for wanting his share of her career. And so, like, I'm coming back to it, and you're saying what's a scavenger. And I think that what's happened inside of black relationships is it's just a free-for-all. But it's a free-for-all in the context of a misunderstanding of sexuality, feminism, and where we're at in terms of wealth. And what ends up happening, I feel like, more often than not even more often than not, what is the normal scenario is that man is your reparations. And whatever man can lie to you about being your reparations best is the one you're going to choose.
Hold on,
for some
Tom.
period of time.
Hold on. I can judge by Dr. Glenna's face that she doesn't agree. Dr. Glenna?
Yeah, that.
Hold on, Tom.
One last thing. Okay.
Hold on. Let's get her in here, and then you can come back.
All right.
Dr. Glenna, what part of that did you disagree with? Because he said a lot of cold things that was true.
Yeah, he said a lot of things, and there's always some truth for some people. In terms of like things being transactional and how women view men in terms of patriarchy and kind of like historical roles in the household. But now that it's expected that more women work, there are some women that are stay-at-home moms, but it is expected that more women work, and more often than not, households are two-income households.
Right.
And so with that being said, what are your thoughts in terms of that piece? Like where, and I don't mean just in terms of like what is a woman looking for in a man, but just in terms of the idea of that women work also, and that's a factor in terms of choosing a mate. Like, because the last thing that you said was that, and correct me if I'm wrong because I don't want to misquote you, the last thing you said was that men are a form of reparations for women. That's
what he said.
So with that being the case, why are working people looking for reparations? Like, and I'm legit like asking, like I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be funny.
Well,
I'm legit like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I start off backing up and saying that last part I was going to say is 70% of black females' first marriages end up in divorce today. And I think it's going to hit 80-85% as well calcified. And what that signifies to me is a misunderstanding of what marriage is from the beginning. And so what I say to what you're saying is that's after your kids is here. So if you have a kid and you pay for your own kid because you work, that ain't like work. Look, if I buy a car and I get the car cleaned, that's just me paying for what it's mine.
No, I mean in terms of dating. Like in terms of if there's two people that are dating, then it's not so much about what do you make and what can you buy me.
But that's not the way. I don't know how long ago you dated. I know you married. I'm saying to you, in the normal dating scenario, men pay today. Men pay. That's just the way it's still set up. I don't know if y'all had a unique situation, and that's fine. But I'm saying socially, the way this thing is set up is men pay for the date.
Are you saying black men can't afford to pay for the date? Any paying that black men are doing is fronting. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying in this sense. I'm saying what ends up happening is this exchange of I promise to provide you stability, and I think that it's an unfair promise. So like let's use it as an example on the first date. Common America. If a woman pays for herself, she feel like she does something. Like I went Dutch, and it's like you pay for your own food. What are you talking about? And so I come back to it, and I think what happens is what's baked into kind of what you're talking about, good doctor, is a woman paying for herself in a way. I'm talking about inside of a marriage right now. I'm talking about like two incomes, because you mixed up two different things. You talk about like two incomes in the household. So that's marriage or in a relationship. Like you kind of just paying for your own rent, or you guys got kids together, you pay for your kids. But if you talk about like in the beginning of a relationship today, the common dynamic is still men are expected to provide, despite the fact that we make the same money. If not, women make more. Black men are expected to provide, despite the fact that there is no inheritance. When we look at white men as great providers, not saying you said that, socially have heard it.
Right.
You don't know if he's using his grandmama's debit card, or for that matter, his grandmama paid for his student loan, so then he has his money free, so he's able to pay with that.
Right.
So I come back to it, and I'm saying the take care of me model is still very prevalent in this society. That's the whole Issa Rae insecure the whole black men ain't nothing because they can't provide model that's going on right now.
So wait. Before you go further, I need you to talk about the 2016 stats that make black men undateable.
Well, you know, the first thing you just deal with is that we switched to a society where labor isn't how you, like, make wealth. You make wealth because your parents gave it to you. So I don't know. Let's look at you as an example. I don't know your situation. Are both your parents around good doctors?
I like him calling you good doctor. I like that. Doctor?
No, I get what you're saying in terms of African Americans not having transformational wealth and generational wealth and how that contributes and how that changes the dynamic in terms of what a black man can do for a black woman if that's the setup that you're looking for. So I get what you're saying in terms of that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I get what you're saying in terms of like wealth building, and in terms of what other cultures can do and versus what we can do.
No, but I'm trying to find out.
But does that change?
I'm trying to find out about you. I'm trying to find out, do you guys both, do you and your husband have both your parents in your life?
Yeah, not the way that you would think. And I'm not getting into the specifics, especially not about, I wouldn't air my husband's family. But yeah, but I understand where you're going with the question.
So it becomes a hard dance because, like, in L.A., what you find is a lot of people, you'll find that there's this critical mass of boomer hook people in L.A. And they're professionals. They went to USC. They went to UCLA. But not only do they not represent the middle of L.A., but they don't represent the middle of Louisiana. I just came back from Louisville with Jesse Jackson yesterday. They don't, like, the people in Louisville, abject poverty. And so, like, what I'm seeing is, like, it's not to say that black people who went to school can't sleep with black people that didn't go to school. But it is to say that there's a whole dynamic of black poverty going on across this country. That if you ain't never rode a bus because your parents, like, there's a bunch of L.A. people who ain't never been on a bus, like a RTD or MTA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can sleep with black people if you don't know what the inside of an MTA look like. I'm just saying what it is. And I'm saying this because I'm saying this in a level of relationship because if you are a black woman that has some boomer hip parents as an example, not saying you do, I don't know. I'm saying what ends up happening is you don't got to scavenge as much as the next girl. So you can't really tell me what she thinks. That girl is the middle, the girl that really, she don't know her pops. Her pop's in jail. I'm talking about this is the true middle. This is, all this stuff is woven together. Mass incarceration, lack of wealth. But what happens is
toxic ambition, all of it.
Yeah. We get a room with people who have two boomer parents, and they don't got to do that stuff. And they say black women don't do that. And it's like, you don't do that, and your friends, because especially in L.A., we created Ladera, which is an offset group of people that don't represent L.A. And it really don't represent Louisville, Philadelphia. It don't represent. So I'm coming back to it and I'm saying, I think that there's a national reality of pushing the consequence of Jim Crow, slavery, legacies of poverty onto men through expectations of what they're supposed to provide with no understanding that we live in a world where provisions come from inheritance, not labor, and we have no labor advantage.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you this, Tone. Then how does a sister pick a good black man under the definition of what manhood is in this society? How does she? How does she find one?
That was going to be my next question. Like, well, then how do you date? Like, if the only conversation is, we don't have this, we don't have that, we grew up without this, we grew up without fathers, we grew up without A, B, and C. Well, then what is the solution for dating?
Well, the first thing becomes, like, what did you grow up with? Because if you grew up with vacations, because, like, that's what I mean, like, there's a critical mass of UCLA kids that grew up going to the Caymans or some weird stuff like the Bahamas every year, once a year.
Right, I know, but I think, I know, like, you're a wealth of information, which is like dope for the record, like the way that you can pull this information like this. But what is the solution? Because I feel like if all we do is spend all of, and not like just in this conversation, but if we spend our time solely in discourse about how disparaging our situation is, well, then how do we move anybody forward? Like at some point, you got to say, you know what? That sucks. You never met your dad. You ain't never been outside the city. You ain't never been on an airplane till you was 25 years old. That sucks. But in the same breath, we got to be like, so this is how you do it. Like just to give you perspective, like I grew up in Eastside Long Beach, and I went to Long Beach, probably the greatest high school in all the land. I was on a 61, 62 all day long up and down Atlantic, so I know what it is. But I just made a choice for myself to be like, you know what? There's more out there. Like I've never had a professional mentor, so I got into USC because I Googled it. I was like, yo, what's next? Like what else is out there? And I'm not saying like. Right. No. I hear what you're saying, but
hold on, Tom. Hold on.
I'm asking like legit, like, because now we know, like, you know, social work has what we call intractable problems, like problems that we know they're not going to get solved in our lifetime. Like we're aware of that. So now, like, since you're aware, like, there's no generational wealth. You know what I mean? Like, we even got people that try to do it through insurance companies, and then they get insurance checks for $400. You know what I mean? Like, it's a joke. Like, we know that this is happening. We know that in the 2006 mortgage or 2008 mortgage crisis, up to 2.3 million black people that lost their homes, 1 million were black. Like, we know that. But the solution can't be, well, black people lost their homes, so we don't do anything. It's like, no, like, we got to figure out another way to get back into home buying.
Tone.
But this is the problem. We don't know it if you want a solution like it didn't happen. That's the conundrum. And also, it's not all one event. 2008 was not the event. That was the start of the event.
Right.
The last decade, we've seen the greatest rise in, I'm talking about after 08, in wealth inequality. Basically, in the history of the U.S., a country that has slavery. So now here we are at this point where the tax cuts are going to go into effect in 19. So we're only at the beginning. So this opportunity that you had when you came out of school isn't present today anymore. So it's not about saying, what is the solution? It's about really, because I think one of the things that we want to jump to is we understand the problem. So what's the solution? We don't. I deal with 30,000 people. They don't understand the problem.
Well, I know, but I'm asking in terms of like today's topic, like bringing it back to takers, givers, and transactional people. Like, well, if we're dating.
But I think what Tone is saying is, because it's so bad, the proclivity or the potentiality of the people we interact with in intimate relationships, it's probably going to be with a taker. Because we're at the bottom of every measurable, meaningful metric in this society. It just seems like that's what we're going to have to deal with.
And also, Zoe, this is what, like I said, we live in L.A., and it has this critical mass of, like, these shiny black people. Some cities don't have none of those people. Like I said, I just came back from 4 days with Jesse Jackson in Louisville. And what you see is we really don't grasp that race is about not having. They created black people to be an underclass, and they left us there. Now, I'm not saying there can't be transformational government, but what I'm saying is in terms of scavenger-esque behavior, in terms of these relationships, the high transactional, like, exchange does nothing more than change the scavengerism from a straight, here's $100, I give you sex, to you got to come home at this hour, and I come home at this hour, and then so then it only works as long as you have a good job that lets me come home at that hour. What happens when the job says you can't come home at that hour? Or they come up with Uber where you got to work at night? Does your relationship still work when you drive Uber? The one that you told me earlier? Like, that's the things y'all got to talk about before you get into a relationship, without even knowing if Uber's going to come about.
And that's another question. Listen, because I've heard this, especially with Tone, a lot. People say, what's the solution? What's the solution? And to me, that's a fair question. What's the solution, goddammit? You're going to hit us upside the head with all this information. But I think the flip side of that is, just because he talks about this, does that mean he's supposed to come with the solution? Does that mean he's supposed to have the solution? Or is he just outlining what the problem is? Because I think a lot of the information that he talks about, the average motherfucker don't even know. Like, the average black person does not know.
That's true.
The average black person doesn't know.
Huh? So there's one more thing. Mm-hmm. My show and event show is 70% men, 30% women. Let's get to the heart of it.
Uh-oh.
When I brought the data about when Avengers did a show on black female business, 98% of black female businesses have no employees. Now, the importance of that isn't just that these are undercapitalized businesses, but these are largely young women that don't want to face that they're unemployed. So what I'm saying is that we have one group that is highly more fantastical than the other.
Fantastical, you talking about in terms of, life and aspirations and dreams? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to realize that what happens is if you can hit a dude with a skillet and not go to jail, and I'm literally saying that you can do that as a woman, you don't really understand, like, for our side, you could be in the wrong car in the back seat and get 10 years. So, like, what ended up happening, I'm talking about incarceration, all these different elements make us understand the world in a very, very, there's this punishment for being black. So we consistently are looking out for the cost of being black as men. I'm saying on the female side, for a decade, maybe even more, there was a great amount of gains and success. There was the rise of Oprah. There was this idea of equality where you can make pay, but then you still can expect the man to pay on the first day. And I'm saying, like, what ended up happening is this misunderstanding of a solution because you ain't really looking at how you going to come up with it. It's, like, let's just be real. Like, how many women have you talked to, though, that expect you to buy the house? Despite the fact that,
every last one of them.
You gonna buy the house.
Every single one of them.
And I'm just bringing the wood to the, and I'm not
all
saying that you can't have
26,000.
Let's come back to the topic.
Got a tally on your wall.
Let's come back to the topic of scavengerism. And I guess for me, what I see in a lot of ways is that this scavengerism has become much more nuanced and complex in a way where it's a mask over it, where you can't see it all the time. It isn't just like straight up, I expect $100 for sex. It's a more complex, I expect you to, don't talk to me about your grandfather. Talk to me about a solution for your grandfather. The nigga was a sharecropper. What are you talking? We lived during Trump America. But don't talk to me about that. I don't want to, that's not a solution. Isn't that scavengerism? Give me a solution during Trump America when you got a great-grandfather who was a sharecropper. I can't solve America for you. I can't solve America for me. What I can try to do is make us happy today and try to keep the lights on. Is that enough? And that's the question everybody got to ask.
Wow. Hey, Tone, let me just say, man, I appreciate you taking the time, man, and slapping us upside the dome piece on your way from home from Jones Beach.
I love your new guest.
She's dope, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Glenn.
You don't want to tell us about that pass.
No, she got what I like about what she did was she was like, I'm finna protect my husband and his information. I ain't finna be out here just letting shit out. That's how your woman's supposed to be out in the streets.
Yeah, she protecting it. Let's go. All right, Zoe.
Hey.
Oh, this Friday, marriage. We doing marriage.
Absolutely.
Zoe, tune in, 7 p.m. Tone Talk.
Tone Talk.
Is black marriage on the brink?
Absolutely.
Black marriage on the brink. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, bet. Tone came in with a whole bunch of information, didn't he?
Yeah, man.
You didn't like it?
Nah, that's cool.
Okay, you want to battle?
No, ain't no battle. That's a certain type of person, and we need that person. Like, you need that person that's a wealth of information. Like, they're low-key Google, you know what I mean? They just pull up stuff. Like, you need that person.
We need that.
That's dope.
Hey, the number to dial is 323-230-4610. Are you married to a taker, a matcher, or a giver? What I find is the givers are in the most successful relationships and the most unsuccessful relationships. Why is that, Glenna?
You said givers?
Givers find themselves in the most successful relationships and the most unsuccessful relationships.
I mean, that's everybody, though.
Everybody ain't no damn giver.
Nah, not everybody's a giver. No. No. But you said in the most successful and unsuccessful. I mean, that's,
Givers get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because they want to give.
Givers do get taken
advantage of.
And
when givers get taken advantage of, typically those relationships break down.
Yeah, as they should.
Now, because maybe that's what the giver needed to learn about himself. Like,
better pull back.
Jesus.
Give to the right person.
I'm giving to a smooth monkey. Right? I got to stop giving the monkeys because they just run off. right? Then you have the matchers. Matchers, I call those relationship brokers. Relationship investment brokers. I'm going to give when you give. And what I give will be equal value to what you give.
And you know, that's the narrative right now. Like, oh, I'm going to deal with somebody, I'm going to match your energy. Like, that's the whole, you know, you can see a bunch of Instagram memes that talk about that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, match it is big.
Nobody said all or anything was nothing. Somebody, Jay Harold, said not all givers are suckers. I guess he just needed to type something. We pretty intelligent around here. We don't speak in absolutes. That's why one of our favorite words is some but all. Some, but not all. We know that there's some givers who know how to navigate. The givers that get taken advantage of are the ones that don't know how to navigate around matchers and takers.
You know what sucks, though?
Go ahead.
When a giver runs into a person that's manipulative.
Say more.
So they're giving and they think that they're giving to a person and it's not necessarily matching, but it's more like egalitarian. Like, it's like, you know what? I'm going to do for you. You're going to do for me. It's not always 50-50. It might be 80-20 one day, you know.
You just brought up a great point. Now we have to make the distinction between the matcher and the egalitarian relationship.
Right.
Now, the egalitarian relationship is truly about fairness.
Right.
And that's, first off, that's hard to achieve with greedy people.
This is true. That's what I was saying. Like, people who, you know, the worst is when you got a person with a good heart and they're willing to work hard, sacrifice for their partner, and they think that they're in a relationship with a person, you know, that's going to be receiving it the proper way. They don't know that they're in a relationship with somebody that's like, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when it sucks. I hate
so the
seeing that.
matcher is usually a scorekeeper.
Yep.
The matcher.
I did this.
Yep, I did this. Remember that time I did that? Whoop, whap, whoop.
Yep.
Where's the boomerang effect on what I did? You still owe me.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
matcher has the owe me. That's why I said they're a relationship broker.
That's true.
They're relationship investment bankers. Now, in an egalitarian situation, there's true consideration, there's true respect, there's mutual respect. There is understanding in the sense, I know you can't come with 50% every 30 days.
Right. Right.
This 30-day cycle or 90-day cycle, I may have had to take over 80% of the situation. But it always shifts back in some way or form. Like, for instance, if a person can't match you financially, they might be able to match you on energy. I always talk about different currencies.
Right.
See, especially, you see what I'm saying? Especially when children are involved. When kids are involved, presence from a father is a currency.
Listen.
You understand? Nigga, your payment is worth more than your presence in your daughter's life. No, it's not. You crazy? Listen, I know you can't pay right now. Don't worry about it, but you're here.
You're still here. Go to the park. Go in the backyard.
There
go
we
sit
go.
And do homework.
There we go. Because sometimes, first off, you know, I love the way Iyanla Van Zant broke it down. She was like, and same thing for sons, but the way she broke it down with regards to a father's presence in a daughter's life, he was like, his presence teaches her boundaries. Because there's certain shit she ain't gonna do round dad. And if dad is the first male love of her life, that's gonna concretize for how she deals with men. If that boundary isn't there, how much is that boundary worth, Glenna?
You can't put no dollar amount on that.
I'm just gonna say, is it worth a child support payment?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Don't get me wrong. We're not saying don't pay child support.
That's not what we're saying.
This is not an excuse for you to be like, well, I'm here, so I ain't got to pay no check. No, because love don't keep the lights on.
Right.
So,
but see,
but still,
even
there's absolutely value in that.
But even that concept, let's go deeper. Even in that concept, love don't keep the lights on. That is a capitalist, corporate kind of thought process.
I'm talking about in terms of if you have a child, like, yes, we want you to be present. Yes, I'm a firm believer in, people need both parents there in their lives in some capacity, whether you're in the same house or on the same block or in the same city, whatever the case may be. But we're not saying that people are absolved from paying child support because they're
Not at all.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When I say love, don't keep the lights on, I'm saying your kid still has to eat. They still need shoes and clothes.
I'm saying if we were in an egalitarian situation and you understood what society is doing, like, for instance, me and Tone, we talk about this a lot. I believe a lot of sisters are socially blind in a certain aspect.
What you mean?
Tone and Sandy Darity, a professor of economics out of Duke, wrote a 67-page paper that just really talks about the wealth gap between white folk and black folk. 2.6% of the nation's wealth is in the hands of black people. A whole 2% of that is in the hands of baby boomers. The other 0.06% is in the hands of every fucking body else. What? It's mind-boggling to think that we got up on the hill fantasies about how we gonna live when we get married. So this is what I mean by social blindness. You don't even know this is happening. The middle family, in the report, it said the middle family in Boston, the middle black family in Boston is worth $8. $8.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You don't get your chicken pot pie dinner having $8.
Yeah.
Now, here in L.A., the median black family is $200. We balling compared to everybody else.
But median black what? Median black income, median black wealth?
Black wealth.
Black wealth.
$200.
For what year?
Tell them, Tone. I forgot. It's in the...
Only because there was something... Anyway, we'll come back to that.
We'll have Tone call back in. He'll give you the details. I'm going to have him call back in.
He can call back in. That's
you don't want him to call back?
Goodbye. Call back, Tone.
Do you want him to call back?
Pull up, Tone.
Call his ass out.
Pull up.
Pull up on her, Tone.
You good.
She gonna bang on you, nigga. Your numbers is wrong. Oh, man, we like Dr. Glenna, goddammit. We like her.
But no, that's in terms of what you're saying. Like, yeah, people do like... I mean, people fantasize about a lot of things, but that's one big one. Like, when I get married, this is what it's going to look like. They fantasize about what your house going to look like, what the relationship is going to look like. And even people have kids. Like, you know what? The ones that kills me. People who be like, man, when I had kids, my kids going to be fitted all the time. You be like, what?
What?
No, they not. They grow out of stuff every 3 minutes.
You
like, you don't have time to be keeping up with that stuff.
You better get some Stride Right shoes instead of them Jordans.
Listen, you better figure out what fit today. I don't put shirts on my kids and be like, take it off. Take it off. So, yeah, people do have unrealistic expectations, and sometimes you get into it, and it's like, dang, like, this is what it's really like. Okay, cool.
I love it.
I agree with that.
This is good shit. Phone lines are open. We want to hear from you right now. Are you married to a giver, a taker, or a matcher? Phone lines are open. 323-230-4610. You're listening to the Voice of Reason on Dash Talk X. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it.
How you doing? This is Dominique.
You got to turn your whole living room down. Your living room loud as hell. Turn your living room down.
Well, I'm sorry.
All right, come on.
A whole hour. Okay, my name is Dominique Carey, and I'm from Houston, Texas. Okay?
All right, here we go.
I do what? Okay. I've been listening to you guys. Good points. Everybody has an opinion, and that's good. The only thing I would like to chime in on is the aspects where the doctor was speaking about if, you know, the money doesn't, the love doesn't keep the lights on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a big problem with that because it does go back to the capitalism thing, where you are putting a price on your child's father's time, right? So he has to hit this criteria of whatever child support he has to pay, right? And the child support thing in itself is also part of, you know, systematic racism, okay? in my opinion. So, as far as givers and takers, you're going to get used. You might use people, right? And it's your decision whether you want to stay in that situation or not. For me personally, my first date with my husband, first time a guy had ever came and picked me up to take me out, and then he gave me, like, choices. It was a cap on what we could do on that first date.
Okay.
Are y'all still there?
Yeah, we're
still here.
listening.
We're
to you.
listening.
Saying?
We don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, so on our first date, we're on our way. He's like, hey, I know we said we were going to do this, that, and the other. Things came up, right? So I'm sitting in the passenger seat of his car. This is the first date I've been on when a guy was like, okay, look, we're not going to be able to do everything. You're going to have to pick and choose, and then you have to pay for something. And I was sitting there, and I started to have him turn me around because this is how I was, 8 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed that he was going to pay for everything, right? And maybe I'll leave a tip, something like this. But he was like, no, we got to bust this down because I can't pay for everything. Bills came up, this, that, and the other. And I had been on enough dates with dudes who wanted to flirt me with money and this and that, right? And, yeah, I took it. I took it because they gave it, It wasn't like I was going on dates asking for anything. This is what a man assumes, right? A man assumes if he buys you dinner and gets you this, he going to get something else. And I was the type of woman that was like, nah, I'm gonna take what you give me, and then we'll talk about that other stuff later. My husband, though, that's why I married him. He was different.
Mm.
It's half, It started off half, and he did that to protect himself because he knows so many women have this mindset of a man is supposed to pay for everything.
Mm.
He has to do everything. And this is a concept that black women in America need to get off of. This is something that we've been Americanized with, They push this on us. And we see it and we don't really realize it, that we're doing it until we're out of that cloud and you have knowledge of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you start valuing different things. The morals of a person, the character of a person versus their bank account and what kind of car they're driving.
That's what I was gonna comment. It sounds like you really saw the character in your husband, and that in an inadvertent way, that was an attractive trait. Like, you know what? Number one, this man will be honest with me about his situation. And number two, this man knows how to budget money. So if I do link myself with him and things ain't all the way on the up and up, he's not going to run us into the ground. He's going to keep it 100 with me. He's going to say, you know what, honey, this is what we got. This is what we need to do. And let's create an action plan based on our current finances and not on some, what we wish we had. So that's, I would guess, and you could answer that. Is that something that you realized was an attractive trait in him right out the gate?
Well, Glenna, she's gone. We had to move on.
Well, that was my thinking when she was talking. I'm like, if somebody came and basically said, I operate on a budget, if you're looking at somebody's character, you're looking at their heart, you're looking at more than just the transaction, then that's really attractive.
But this goes back to my point earlier. You're the optimist. I'm the pessimist.
That's being an optimist?
No, because
she's an optimist too.
Because this is what
she
I
saw
mean
the
by
best
that.
in her husband.
I think it's exceedingly difficult for the average person to see the best in someone.
No, that's fair. Because on the flip side of that, it could have easily been like, I can't believe he even offered to take me out knowing he didn't even have nothing. So that's fair.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair.
I just think it's hard for people to see quality, integrity, meaning, purpose.
That's true.
I think people see resources first. They see where you're going first. That's what I'm sorry.
That's true.
The average person, what's she bringing to the table? What is he bringing to the table?
This is true.
Come on now, caller, you're on the line. Hopefully it's Tim.
Hello?
Hell is low. Welcome to the show.
Who?
Hello?
Yes, this is Dominique Carey.
You call back?
I called back. I was in the middle of a statement.
Lord have mercy. Your statement wasn't over? I thought it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Finish your statement, Dominique Karen.
Well, actually, I want to hear what else the doctor has to say, if that's okay.
You couldn't hear her? She dropped bombs on you.
I couldn't hear her. The phone dropped, and then I tried to go back to my little iPad here, and I couldn't hear y'all on there.
Well, all I was saying that I thought that I was more so asking, maybe you realized that was an attractive trait. The fact that your husband was willing to be honest with you and was willing to live on a budget, even if that meant he didn't look all, glamorous on the outside. And maybe that's part of what made him attractive, because you said that was your very first date.
Yeah, that was our first date together.
Yeah, okay. And that was all I was saying, that was something that's probably how he ended up being your husband. Not the only reason, but you know what I mean. That meeting him and seeing him and seeing him operate that way, like, wow.
I'm going to ask all the women, you on the phone and you in this room. Can black women find a way to be content with a broke husband if he provides
if he
other
has
things?
Knowledge of self. You have to ask yourself, what's the definition of broke? Or are we just going by what?
When I say broke, I don't mean spiritually destitute. I mean financially broke.
Can a black woman deal with that?
The average black woman in America, can she deal with a financially broke man who provides another way?
If she has self-knowledge, I believe so.
Can I add this too?
Self-knowledge, and they work together to build something.
There we go.
I wasn't looking for a man to just take care of me for the rest of my life, because I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in a 2-parent home. We weren't rich, and I heard you say something about like the middle. I didn't even know it was the middle class anymore. It was like down here in Texas. The cost of living is cheaper, but it's a small percentage of people that's actually out there balling. Staying downtown paying $3,500 a month.
Okay. Well, listen, honey. Listen. I love you to death, but I got to move on now, okay? I appreciate all your points. You dropped information that we needed, but we got to move on. Is that all right, honey?
That sure is.
Thank you, baby girl. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay, now. Bye.
Caller. Hopefully this is our guy, Tim. Tim, you're on the line.
Hey, Zoe.
Hey, who is this?
Hey. It's Taurus from Atlanta. Of course I had to call in.
Taurus from Atlanta. Here we go.
Hi, good doctor.
This shit about to go crazy. He's about to go off the rails.
I always have to call in. I don't think it's fair, because I think he focuses too much on L.A. and the data in L.A. and that people...
This is National Day, LeBet. This is National Day.
I understand that, but he seems to focus on the women that are in L.A. And I think they just have a totally different agenda because of the economy out there and all that. I'm curious to know that if he could date a professional woman, would he allow a woman to buy him dinner? I'm just curious, because a lot of men say that, but they feel some kind of way when the woman's resources can get them what they want or need. Somebody had a conversation about this the other day about being resentful, black men being resentful of that. It was on something else that went viral or whatever. And I think that's one of the biggest issues I have with him. And second is that you don't need a whole lot of financial resources if you're going to be in a rural area. It doesn't, and I would have to dispute his data with that.
Just
living.
What I want you to do. This is what listen to me.
I have the report.
Listen to me.
I've got the report.
What I want you to do. I want you to take a few deep breaths, because you sound a little agitated right now.
He does that to me.
Just breathe and flow with it. I just take it easy. I know
Okay.
you're a little. Now try to get one solid point out right now. We listening.
One solid point. I'm wondering if he ran up against a woman who actually had more resources than whatever it is that a man and what's going on in L.A. can do. Would he be satisfied with that? If she took him to the most expensive restaurant and paid for the whole thing, not just Dutch, but paid for herself and him, is he going to resent her later?
Is he going to resent her for
second,
paying? Okay, all right, that's a good question.
I have another question. with if how much is the tuition at where did he go to school? UCLA? How much is tuition there?
Okay, UCLA is a state school, so the tuition is not that high. It's not that high. Like in comparison to USC. USC is a private school, and USC's tuition is crazy.
Yes.
But wait. Hold on. Let me just give you the information right now.
Okay.
UCLA is not cheap though.
UCLA
it's not like Cal State Long Beach or Cal State LA.
Right. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's more affordable than, say, LMU.
This is true.
Tone went to LMU too.
Okay.
So he went to LMU Law, which is a Jesuit private school here in Playa del Rey. It's upper echelon LMU. He went to LMU Law and he went to UCLA. Now, understand this about UCLA. UCLA is the #1 applied to school in America. In America.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get into UCLA if you black unless you're an athlete for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's the GPA for UCLA athletes? I know because my son was recruited and got offered. For the athlete, you got to have at least a 3.0. But if you're a non-athlete, the GPA is 4.2 to get into UCLA. And not all of the 4.2s get into the UCLA. Now, UCLA used to have affirmative action. Now all of California's UCs, they don't have affirmative action. So you can go to their campuses and you will see that the average population of African Americans at most UCs, including UCLA, is 3%.
Oh, wait.
Half of the 3% are athletes.
What she's saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that Tone, what he talked mostly about was the idea that most African American men are not financially in a position to carry the load the way historically it's supposed to go in terms of man providing and things like that.
Right.
And she's saying, well, what if we flipped it and took it, out of LA and took it somewhere where maybe women are more affluent?
Got that.
Yeah, and what would it look like?
I wanted to make a point about the tuition.
Hey, hold on.
Okay.
Taurus, if you don't settle that little fanny down, settle down. You know we're gonna let you talk now. Shit.
Okay.
Settle down.
Okay.
Well, girl, if I was there, I'd grab them hips.
Now see.
Stop.
That's what you need. You need a hip grabbing. A strong ass man with wrists. Just grab your hips and just settle you down. Now you simmer down and you talk to us now. You talk to us like you got sense now.
Okay, so I want to go back to the tuition thing. I am not going to spend, or at least I'm old. I'm 45 years old. So tuition was nowhere near what it is today. And I never would have made that kind of investment in studying at an expensive school if I was not going to be able to earn the income after, postgraduate. I would have never done that. So I find it hard to believe that these women in these schools are they're, he always say they're dating the dope boys and all this. But I find that hard to believe. First of all, when they are going to graduate, and they're going to be employable. So that data, that's what I keep saying. I keep going back to that. Now, granted, I understand there's some wretched women out there or whatever, but I honestly believe if you took a poll, you would find that there are more black women that are working than not, because we have to, regardless of the situation, whether we're earning, if we're the primary earners or we're not, we're there to with the second income to support the household. So
you're saying that we're not just sitting around being takers.
Exactly. Now, okay. Well, can I? Let me just use my.
You better hurry up and make this goddamn point.
Okay,
that was her point. She said that black women are getting educated, black women are starting businesses, black women are producing income, and that for that reason that we're not just sitting around saying, "What you gonna do for me? You need to take care of me."
Exactly. We cannot. I can't afford to do that. A guy can't come into my home and take over this load. I understand that. He's not going to be able to do that. So I have to be able to. I've got to be able to continue to do what I'm doing. So I don't know if his disconnect is with the women that are just there in LA in that bubble, or if he's actually really looking at black women outside of LA.
I think he is.
And I really think that he's not. No, I don't think he is.
But that's fine. You get to think what you like.
Okay, yeah.
We love you for that.
I can do that.
And thank you for bringing up the perspective.
Thank you, good doctor.
We love it. Good Dr. Glenda is in the building, y'all. I love Dr. Glenda. This is a cold situation right here. Pimp, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Taurus from Atlanta. Whenever she calls in, she's going to be ruffled. We love ruffling her feathers. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hopefully it's Tim. Tim, are you on the line?
Yes.
Who is this?
This is JK.
This I don't know who this is, but it's scary. Is this the nun? Who are you?
Well, I am out of Nashville, and I remember.
We can't hear you, baby. Where? Jesus H. Horatio Christ. Where are you? Are you on a Boost Mobile Obama phone?
Almost.
Oh, now it's
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Yes, what I was saying was the other day, Tom mentioned that black people are mostly employed at the post office. And I'm not I don't know what the data would say.
Wasn't that in a movie? Wasn't that in Hollywood Shuffle? There's always work at the post office.
Tom said that most black folks are employed by the government. So with that being stated, I'm curious, when you all say a broke black man, are we saying someone with a median income less than $50,000 nationwide, or someone making $7.75 an hour?
Could you date a postal worker?
Absolutely. Because
we got a lot of women out there that frown upon men in all brown suits.
This goes right back to what we were saying earlier in terms of dating somebody with a different set of principles. If you can get your behind up and get up and go to work and be on time and do your job and come home and manage that paycheck, then yeah. That's what she's saying. Like
But I think and
a certain group of women
are
looking for.
And your point is tight, and so is hers. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. But this goes back to my point as well when I talk about social blindness. So you got Bezos, Zuckerberg, Gates, Musk, Elon Musk. All these dudes is having global conferences about how jobs are disappearing because of Industry 4.0. Yeah, average black people don't know what the fuck Industry 4.0 is, and they sitting here fantasizing about a good man who gonna go off to work every day.
We didn't say he was going to work for Elon Musk. We just said he was going to work.
No. But Industry 4.0 is saying there is a shift. This is why Detroit has fallen. Because through automation, we don't need you to come in here and screw these tires on.
Right.
Automation is advancing. First off, you have to understand this about technology. Technology advances every 180 days. So again, in order to keep people, listen to this now, in order to keep people working, you have to retard the growth of technology. Because technology is replacing humans in terms of work. And people say, oh, that's the future. No, that's today. We are in Industry 4.0 today. And they're saying in 5 years, 95 million jobs will be gone.
To technology.
To animation or automation.
Automation, yeah.
So again, if our community is unaware of that conversation and we still getting in relationships trying to build on a foundation that's about to be obsolete, in effect, we are now building obsolete relationships based off of outdated beliefs. Am I right or wrong about that?
No, I agree with that. Like in terms of, right, you can't look at like relationships from the 20s, 30s, 40s and say, I want that. Like, no, you do have to evolve. You do have to change your beliefs. But there are some core things that stay the same.
Like
like somebody that's hardworking, somebody that don't throw the whole relationship away just because you didn't make the spaghetti the way that they wanted it. You know, like there's some things that go into staying with the person. And some of that means that if he pull up on the first date and say, yo, we can't go here, we going here instead, that.
So let me ask you this. What happens when the bus driver job is gone?
No, I mean, that's a conversation in terms of, no, you're right. But that's a conversation in terms of your industry, in terms of employable skills, and in terms of individuals doing their best. I'm not trying to be optimistic, but individuals doing their best to kind of stay. Shut up.
You're an optimist.
Shut up.
That's fine.
To stay ahead of the curve. and again, that's like that. That's the ideal answer, and I'm well aware of that. But I hear what you're saying.
This is why Daniel Pink, who wrote the book A Whole New Mind, Daniel Pink used to be the speechwriter for Bill Clinton. Daniel Pink said, this is why the MFA is more important than the MBA moving forward. The Masters of Fine Art is more important than the Masters in Business Administration. And he said the reason why is because the world is turning increasingly creative in order to create commerce. All of the industrial side of it, the manufacturing side of it is being taken over by automation. Now we need creators. So what used to be a white collar job is now turning blue and also being outsourced. But if our community is unaware of this, we just gonna hustle our way to the top. And all Tone is saying is first off, find the floor and then build from the floor. Don't build from the fantasy of where you think you are. Find the floor. Where are we? This is the ground level. Get to the ground level and then build from there. Because any building worth its salt is based on a sturdy foundation, right? So let's get to the floor of it and say, this is what we got actually? This is what we got to look at actually? Okay, cool. Let's build from here. But most relationships don't even get to that level because we start off in the skies. Am I lying?
You having two conversations. On one hand, we're talking about economics. On one hand, we're talking about relationships. So on one hand, in terms of...
You can't separate them two?
Not completely.
What's the number one reason for divorce in America right now?
Money.
Bread.
No question about that.
So how are we going to separate that?
But in terms of like what you said, in terms of like employability and things like that, then yeah, that's more of an economics thing. But in terms of relationships, how can I put it? It's not that you don't look for the floor. It's just the economic floor is a different level of understanding. And understanding how the economic floor affects your relationship is one level.
Right.
That's one thing that you have to understand in terms of managing your relationship. Now, before you even get to that level, first date where homie got a coupon, you don't need to know all the statistics about finances and things. First date, homie on a coupon. What are you looking for in terms of the character of the person? Now, if the character, check it out. If the character of the person, if you rock with that, now we talk about the financial floor.
Glenna, if a man came on that first date and said, okay, I got the Groupon, we gonna go over here. This is how we gonna work this whole situation out tonight. I got 4 Groupons. One is for Joe's Crab Shack. We're gonna get 60% off of that. The other one is for the AMC. We finna see the movies. A woman, let's just be honest. Just tell me the truth. What would be the average response from a woman?
I know what you want to hear. The average response would be like, oh my God, no, he did not come with a coupon. Who he think I am? He trying to play me cheap. What you thought this was?
You know
that's
that.
The average. You're right. That's the average.
To me, that's indicative of social blindness.
I agree.
You don't know what the fuck is going on. I had a woman tell me, we got to do something special if I'm going to go out with you. Listen. Oh, God. This is the last time I'm ever going to talk to you.
But I feel like I'm still going to be stupid. It was nice meeting you, ma'am. It's been real. But I still, like, whatever. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Like, ladies, if that's you, if you patting your weave right now, like, he better not come with a coupon to Applebee's, then right now, listen to me, my friend. Look at me. I am the captain now. Listen to me. You got to be open to that kind of stuff. And you got to figure out how to use discernment to figure out when he's playing you, you know what I mean? Like when he stay with a coupon book or, you know, and when he's just trying to use wisdom and be budgeting his money appropriately according to his situation.
But what if you really like a dude? Like, really like a dude.
Then you better go print out 2 more coupons so y'all can go out again.
How about it?
That's on you. Like, if you, to me, like I said, I'm looking at the character of a person. If somebody, I look at it like a level of responsibility.
That's you.
Yeah.
You're a fucking unicorn.
Fair.
Your husband is lucky. You're a unicorn. The average dude is dealing with a shark, a relationship shark. A relationship mercenary. That's what the average dude is looking at.
And in all fairness, because we're not going to keep jumping on women, in all fairness, it's dudes that misrepresent themselves, and nobody wants to end up with that.
Listen, why do lies work on women?
The same reason why they work on men.
No, I'm going to tell you why they work on women.
What's Zoe's bootleg answer for why
Let
lies
me tell
work
you
on
why
women.
they work on women. Because most women have fantasies for relationship standards.
That's fair.
And a fantasy is just a fancy word for lies. That's the lie they tell themselves. They tell themselves they deserve shit they don't deserve. They tell themselves that they better than what they really the fuck are.
Girl, you do deserve it. Don't listen to him.
And then you attract this motherfucker into your life. You ain't shit, but you've been fantasizing about your ideal self.
Now, wait a minute. I ain't say all that.
I
didn't say fantasize and don't have nothing going for yourself.
A lot of times women get... First off, in relationship, you can't get nothing other than who you are. And you know, like I know, it's hard as fuck to tell yourself the truth about yourself.
No, it's hard. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Let alone hear the truth from somebody you dating.
It's true.
Women control the relationship narrative. Men lie because it works. And when women get really centered on telling themselves the truth, that's when their relationships get better. Am I lying?
You can say this whole bit for men, too.
I'm just saying, am I lying?
I don't know. I'm feeling fantastic. You might be lying to me right now. I don't know.
I'm not lying.
I got a fantastic view about things. You might be lying to me.
Women love
I can't filter through
lies. And men tell the best lies through their behavior. Let me just communicate to her ass by taking her to the dinner of her choice. I'm broke as shit. But guess what? I'm finna hustle this $200 into sex. This is what we do.
This is that. I mean, that's a whole nother. If you expect every single date to be a $200 dinner, that's a whole nother conversation. But all right.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Callers, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Welcome to the Voice of Reason, man.
Hello?
Hello, who is this?
I'm looking for the Zoe radio show.
This is Zoe Williams. Who is this?
It's Tim.
Tim! Come on, Tim. Come in here and tell us why this is all bullshit right now.
She's a higher status woman, and she's nearly incapable. There's so much cognitive dissonance going on. She's nearly incapable of stepping outside herself and looking at society as a whole. She keeps internalizing everything, thinking that she's the model for every woman. It's kind of sad.
Hey, Tim, I'm going to get out your way.
Sorry I made you sad.
I'm going to get out your way, Tim. I want you to say whatever it is on your heart right now. Just release the Kraken.
I ain't no slave master. Don't say that. You're terrible, man.
Go ahead, man.
I wanted to piggyback off of what Tone was saying earlier. Everybody was asking for a solution. I know what the solution is, but nobody's going to go for it.
What is it?
I'll ask you a question first. What has been, how should I word this? What have been the most long-standing societies in history, egalitarian or patriarchal?
I would say patriarchal.
Okay, so knowing that women can vote and that they are the majority of voters and they wield the majority of all political power, would you say we live in a patriarchal or a matriarchal society currently?
I would say matriarchal.
Okay, and is society doing well right now, or is it failing?
It's failing.
Okay, so do you know what the average birth rate is in America is right at the moment?
No, what is it?
The stats I was looking up yesterday, in 2015, it's about 1.89. Now, you need 2.1 just to neutralize the population of a given country. So we're currently at 1.89. That's why Social Security is failing and all the welfare state is failing, is because there's not enough taxpayers to go around to pay for all these benefits that women have voted in for themselves. So financially speaking, the society's already done, primarily because women have a proclivity to vote for bigger government, and whenever you have a larger state, you have less freedom. And with less freedom, you have less economic opportunity, and that's why essentially we're failing. So this is how it's going to play out. One of two things is going to happen. Either women lose their rights because men have had enough and the birth rate goes up, or other societies that are patriarchal that have higher birth rates, like, say, the Muslim community, for instance, has a 2.8, I think, highest in the world. And you can see it in Europe right now, where they're importing Muslims into the European nations to bolster their tax base, because nobody's fucking over there, because they're all matriarchal in nature, because women have rights. So as soon as you eliminate the woman vote, and we go to a patriarchy where men have responsibility and authority over the family unit, like has been for thousands of years, you'll immediately raise the birth rate, and your society will be saved. If you don't do that, another society that has the birth rates, that does have a patriarchal society, will end up taking over. And like I said, you can already see that happening in Europe today.
Hold on, Tim.
What does that have to do with the black community not being...
I just got to ask this question. Hold on. Are you saying it's women's fault that the society is failing?
No, it's not women's fault. It's because we were allowed to vote. That's what the problem is.
Well, it's men's fault. It's men's fault for giving women the vote.
There we go. It's men's fault for... Well, then, as long as it's a man's fault, I'm good.
So...
Y'all shouldn't have let us vote. Yo, bad homie. I mean, I was out there in the 20s in the women's suffrage movement getting spat on and whatnot. You shouldn't have let me be out at the women's suffrage movement. You shouldn't have let me march. You shouldn't have let me vote. I don't know what to tell you.
So you're saying men made another bad decision.
Yeah, it's y'all bad. But let me ask this. This is interesting. So let me ask this. In terms of like, and correct me because I don't want to misquote you. But you said that we need to go into a society where it's more patriarchal, so then people are having sex more, so then the population increases. But in terms of like the black community, in terms of what Tone was saying, that black men are not financially in a position to be patriarchal and do that kind of old school thinking. So how does that translate? And then especially what the other young lady was saying in terms of African-American women owning more businesses and becoming more educated. How does that translate? And how long do you think it would take to kind of wash us loudmouth women out? Like, how does that work?
Well, it would inverse itself. It's taken about 50 years for men to be destroyed in the West. It would take roughly the same amount of time of raising a couple.
You said 50 years.
Men who were,
Go ahead.
It would take a couple generations to raise enough boys in order to retake society. So,
but how does that work in terms of black men? Because what Tone was saying in terms of the disparities.
Well, hold on. Tone, Tim is a white man.
I know.
So he might not be able to speak on what it's going to take for black men.
That's what I'm asking. Because the population you said we were talking about earlier in the show we were talking about specifically black America.
Well, let me finish. God damn it, woman.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Wait, hold on. She's new. This is her first show. You can't come at her like that. Come on, Tim. Shit.
Well, she's gonna ask me a question. I have to retort at some point.
All right, bring your grievances to me. I will be your guide in this conversation. Don't ever come at this sister like that. She's married, man. I got to defend her husband's honor.
I already explained it to you. When women can no longer vote, the government will shrink. And when the government shrinks, women will no longer have the state as their weapon to use against men. So when that happens, you'll have more fathers taking after their families. I mean, right now the state has taken over the black family.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Say more. More. What do you mean the state is taking over the black family? Because Marcus King back here was looking like, what does that mean?
Well, how many dollars do you get per head if you just pop out a bunch of kids? And if the man lives in the house, they don't get that money.
But could the same, but Tim, could the same be said about poor white trash families?
Absolutely.
Who are more on, they're more white people on, welfare and all of that stuff than black people.
Yes, absolutely. This is not a race issue. This is a people versus government issue. So it has nothing to do with race. As soon as you shrink the government, the women, white, black, Asian, doesn't matter, can't run to the state to get $1,200 per head for every kid they pop out. And then if the man leaves the home, if the man stays in the home, they don't get any of those benefits. So it's math.
So we just have to gain control of society because women, based on our poor choices, have run amok, is what you're telling me.
Well, okay, so men don't chase resources. Typically, men, on average, chase freedom and liberty. We're individualistic in nature. We build, we create, we conquer, we go to the moon, we build houses, we maintain society, we defend society. Women are resource consumers. Most of the shoppers are women. Most of the consumers are women. This is true. So if there's not many resources being generated by women, where do they go? Oh, they go to the government to get those resources. And they vote themselves those resources. And I forget who it was, but it was one of the founding fathers that says once the people realize they can vote themselves the treasury, the republic will end. That's why democracy is a bad idea, because it's mob rule, and people can just vote themselves goodies.
Right. So, Tim, let me just hit you to a couple of VOR rules. This is Jerusalem. You know how the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims can all go to that one mosque. Everybody is welcome. You can't, this is neutral ground. You can't come at my sister like that, or it is the Crusades all over. And I got to line up with the Moors.
Look, she's a high status female. And if she's a doctor, she's gone through all that education. She's not the average woman. So
she's not.
Her anecdotal evidence on, and then applying that to society as a whole is meaningless. So, so I'm speaking in generalities, and like you say, not all, but most women vote themselves resources, and they go to the state to do it. Men are not in the business of going to the government. Most government programs are built for women. How many organizations are there for breast cancer and women's suicide hotlines and postpartum depression? And I mean, the whole government, all of society was built for women, like the washing machine, electricity, plumbing.
You just blaming women for everything. And she is through right now. She is done. Hey, Tim, let me just say this, man. I appreciate whenever you call in.
The building she went to get her degree was put there by a man.
So does that devalue her degree and the effort she had to put in order to attain it?
No, but she needs.
Saying that's another one of y'all mistakes.
It's another one of our mistakes. We shouldn't have let her get to school either, huh?
If she's voting for more government, she's part of the problem.
Wow. Well, Tim, we appreciate it, man. Anytime you could call in and share with us, man, I like it, goddammit. But you got to respect them. This is Jerusalem, man. When they get in here, you got to respect them. Ooh, Lord have mercy. That was powerful little exchange. You one of them highfalutin women.
That's what the problem is.
You highfalutin. That's what it is.
I need to go back and I don't have enough kids. I need to go back.
You need to be barefooted.
That's it.
We got to reverse time.
That's what it is.
But this is what I will say about black women and our issues, black men and women and our issues in relationships. I will say this. If we sit in here and we're allowing someone else's narrative to define our relationships, I believe the problems that we face are going to be insurmountable. What was the word? You said intractable. earlier.
Intractable problems.
Intractable problems, right?
Right.
Now, we already know in a healthy relationship, there is resolving or revolving conflict that doesn't get resolved. It's like debt. It's just there on your credit card.
Except, like, look, that's just a part of the problem.
That's just part of the problem.
Game.
Right. This is why those people, the clinicians or whatever the fancy word they use, they said, we're not calling it conflict resolution anymore. We're calling it conflict management, because there are some problems that can't be resolved. For black people, in order to not just be takers, to me, we have to become more socially aware. I don't believe there's enough spiritual understanding in relationships, and I don't believe that there's enough social understanding in relationships. We'll see Jay and Beyonce and think that is the goal.
That is the extreme outlier.
People don't understand how much of an outlier that is. Like, that is some outer space shit that's going on with Jay and Beyonce. Am I right or wrong about that?
Right. No, that is the extreme outlier.
You see what I mean? Like, that's not normal. But when you see hashtag relationship goals, what are you supposed to do with that?
But
go ahead.
But
I'm with you.
What's not normal is a rapper and a media mogul at the top of his game, and a singer and a producer and a writer at the top of her game. That is the unusual part. But you don't have to be Jay-Z to be standing back there taking pictures of your wife every chance you get just to show you appreciate her.
True.
So that piece in and of itself, like, that's when I say, like, look at the character of a person, that's what I mean.
Let's go deeper into that.
Take the meat, throw out the bones.
Right. So let's go deeper into that. Is appreciation in the average relationship in abundance? Mutual appreciation in the average relationship.
You know, in the beginning, everything is thick.
That shit is
First
fantasy.
90 days.
That's fantasy.
And then she piss you off one good time.
She
piss you off one good time.
Enhancement bias.
What you mean?
The enhancement bias. That's normal. First 18 months, bliss. Yeah. Honeymoon.
And then you really see, who they are, what clicks, what don't click.
That's
but no,
normal.
I agree with you that appreciation starts to trickle off and people forget what they did in the beginning in order to garner that type of attention.
I don't even believe it's true appreciation. I think it's real superficial. I think most relationships are superficial.
I think it's true in the sense that excitement in the beginning, like that hormone rush in the beginning, that feeling that you get, that's true. And that you're reacting based off.
Do you agree that excitement is superficial? Excitement, stimulation?
Not always. No.
Sometimes substance is boring. Okay, cool.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay, listen.
I don't like to, again, maybe I am an optimist, but I do think that in the beginning, everybody is super excited about that person. Every little thing they do is the best thing since sliced bread. And I do think that wanes, and then you really see who the person is, and you got to take that good hard look in the mirror and be like, can I really deal with the fact that he clipped his toenails in some obscure place? I do think that. Most
people are addicted to the behaviors that you establish in the beginning of the relationship.
Right. And chemically, that's what's supposed to happen. That's what draws people together. So, yes, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? To me, in order to see my quality, you must see who I am, not what I do.
But you don't see that in the beginning. Like, it's not even possible. I mean, like, okay, no. What I said, you don't see that. You don't see, like, when you first start dating somebody, it takes time to really see who a person is. But little things like if he budgets money, then you're starting to see kind of inclinations of what the character
But this is why I say most relationship or professionals are really sociologists. Because in the educational process, they don't teach spirituality, the spiritual purpose of the relationship. They just teach the stats, the numbers, the graphs. This happens at this stage. And, all of the fucking weird white people, like that one white man who created equity theory. He was a fucking economist. And relationships, especially black relationships, are entrenched in these concepts that these white men created for the type of successful relationship that can exist in a capitalist society. It was an economist that came with equity theory. If you bring a bowl, I bring the cereal. If you bring the spoons, I bring the milk. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we get so caught up on conforming and locking into the social norms that we can't even see integrity, which is part of the spiritual process. We can't see what intuition is saying. Intuition gets clouded because we're looking at this social list of check marks that we have to mark off. That goes back to my conversation about Steve Harvey earlier. You got a good man, but he hasn't married you. You got a house with the man. Steve Harvey's advice was break up with the man, sell your equity in the house, and move back with your mama. Now, you like this nigga. No, you don't like him. You love him.
Of course she does.
So fuck love. See, societal norms, push back, please. Societal norms, for the most part, tell you to fuck love in the ass. Fuck love. And love is part of the spiritual process. Why am I here? What am I here to learn? What am I supposed to get out of this? You can't see integrity unless you yourself are integrous. Yes or no?
That's what the lady was saying earlier. She
Which
was
lady?
saying the woman who said that her now husband used a coupon or had to make some amendments, that she had to do some self-reflecting, and that previously the people that she dated, she viewed them differently. And it wasn't until she took a good hard look at herself that she was able to see things differently. So I agree.
You agree?
I agree
that woman is in the minority
No.
or the majority?
No, I mean, she's in the minority in terms of statistics about people who are dating versus married, and probably in the minority in terms of like what we talked about earlier, like who would be willing to accept something like that? Would you be willing, if somebody came in on the very first date was like, yo, I ain't got it the way I thought I had it? Then yeah, a lot of women would see that as he's irresponsible, he didn't plan well, you know, he should be able to do more. A lot of women would see it like that.
That's all I'm trying to say.
It's not that I disagree with you. I guess my attitude towards it, I'm a therapist and I'm solutions oriented. So my attitude is always, so what you gonna do about it? Because I'm not an advocate of things are terrible, things are awful, and then that's just the end of it. My question is always to my clients, whoever I'm working with, so what you gonna do about it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you got a messed up attitude about how you deal with men, or you have a slew of dating dudes that maybe they really was trying to get over on you. You know, after the first day, he like, so can I borrow your car? Like maybe you have dated a bunch of dudes that just wasn't about nothing. Mm-hmm. But what are you gonna do about it? Same thing for dudes. Like, okay, so you recognize that there's a wealth gap. You recognize that you didn't grow up with generational wealth. You recognize that you didn't have anything handed to you, and you still don't. Because we all know that when you get to between 25 and 45, things shift. Mm-hmm. And now nobody is taking care of you. Your responsibility is now to take care of the older and the younger. Mm-hmm. So there's even more pressure for kind of middle-aged people. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. We recognize this. So like you said earlier, there's our floor. Now, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. I mean, are you going to sit up and, like I said, keep having discourse about how things are so awful? Or are you going to say, you know what? Dang, if I don't change my mindset about what I accept, then I'm going to be lonely for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. Or if I sit up here and continually think that all women ain't nothing and all dudes ain't nothing, when I desire, if that is your personal desire, if you don't want to be with anybody, then that's fine. But if it is your personal desire to be in a relationship, my question is always, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do differently? What are you going to change tomorrow?
Now, let me ask you this. Is it the what are you going to do about it are internal questions, right?
They start internal.
Yes. That's so.
Yes.
Again, I always ask people, men and women, what are your top 3 character flaws? Now, what I found is it's easy for people to tell me what the good character traits are. They'll rattle off 200 of them in under 2 minutes. But when I ask people, what are your top 3 character flaws? What I then find is people stutter, stammer. They really get stuck because they really haven't looked inside. And I believe whatever your character flaws are reflected in the partner you get for resolution. That's the only way, in my opinion, you gain self-knowledge from the reflection of the person you're dealing with.
That's true.
So I'm just asking you, how do you get somebody to take responsibility for attracting a taker, attracting a matcher? Go deeper.
First things first, you always got to look at your patterns. Look at your patterns, and then we start with that. And then the next we say, well, how are you feeling or what was going on when you were in that pattern? So like if you lost your job and now you entertaining a certain type of person, or maybe you got a new job and so you start entertaining a certain type of person. I mean, what is the pattern? Are you going literally to the same pond? You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, do you think that only good men come from church? So you only date men in the church?
Wow.
And so, but your belief is all good men come from church, and you're not realizing the church is a hospital. So it's a lot of men that come and they're still working on themselves too.
Oh yeah.
So are you pulling from the same pot and you scared to go from anywhere else? I mean, there's a lot of different things, but I always say I first look at patterns and then look at how are you feeling when you engage in that pattern. Wow. And then you got to be willing to do the work. Like, it takes a while to really, really sit down and take a good hard look at yourself and say, you know what I'm doing, the choices that I'm making are not working. And so you can't control the next person. You can only control yourself. So I'm going to make some different choices for myself and keep moving and shifting until I get the result that I'm looking for.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, the latest member of the Voice of Reason panel, Dr. Glenna Anderson, PhD. She's a cold piece of work. Married, 2 kids, so don't holler at her. You dig? She came in here. She dropped science. She held her own against Tim, against Tone. This is the type of sisters we want to see in here. Those that are thoughtful.
No, they said they don't want. They said I'm elitist.
No, I love the conversation. I love it. God damn it. And this is the kind of stuff I want to engage in. The Voice of Reason was on fire tonight. It's not our job to answer all of your questions, but it is our job to start the conversation. You finish it. The Voice of Reason was on fire tonight. Monday nights will never be the same. Dr. Glenna Anderson. People saying Dr. Glenna Anderson is the bomb. And she is. We appreciate her for coming in. Thank you so much. We'll be back Wednesday with another slapper. The Voice of Reason on Dash Talk X. Deuces.